Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. Last night, George Springer jump-started the road trip with a leadoff home run. Julian Morales will be by to talk about whether he can kickstart this offense again tonight.
Major league hit for HOU AT SEA.
This 4-game series in Seattle where they were hoping the bats would break out. And we saw a good sign yesterday in that very first AB of the game. George Springer taking James Paxton deep for his 4th leadoff home run right here at Safeco Field. A repeat of that would be nice with them not getting the loss last night. He is facing Ariel Miranda tonight, another lefty, but history tells us that it could definitely happen. Has 4 home runs off Miranda. 2 of them are leadoff. 21 career leadoff home runs for George Springer. We all know what that does for this club, for that dugout when he sets the tone for the game in that way. Unfortunately, though, like I said, they got the loss last night. They have been struggling offensively. Those 6 through 9 hitters for the Astros, that's usually what is their strength on this club. They are so long. They have such depth in that lineup. However, not getting it done so far as they rank very low when it comes to the majors. The average, the OBP, the OPS at 544 there, 22nd ranked, just not scoring the runs that we're accustomed to seeing them do. In the heart of this team, HOU AT SEA, guys, you were just talking about him. He said today, we're just 10% through the schedule. The next 90% is what's important right now. We're not on fire, but our record is good. So focus on the positives. We will be fine. So that's where the MVP's focus is. And you know that is something that his teammates are listening to.
No doubt about it. The Astros hope to get it turned around as they face a 2nd consecutive lefty. And here's how they will line things up. George Springer at the very top, followed by HOU AT SEA. A little change in the lineup as Altuve moves up to the 2 spot. Carlos Correa up to the 3 spot. Yuli Gurriel hits cleanup. That means Alex Bregman moves down to 5th. Josh Reddick hits in the 6th spot. Left fielder is hitting 300 on the year. Evan Gattis DHing. Brian McCann behind the plate. Jake Marisnick in center.
Left-hander Ariel Miranda going for the Seattle Mariners out of Havana, Cuba. 2017, he gave up a ton of home runs, namely on that fastball. 262 average against, but that OPS at 904 tells you that next line is the reason why. 24 home runs given up on that fastball, 37 total as far as home runs given up by Ariel Miranda, 2nd most in Major League Baseball. He did lead the Seattle Mariners last year in innings pitched and starts, making his first start of the season here for the Seattle Mariners after being recalled from Tacoma.
The Mariners haven't needed their 5th starter all season long, so that's why he's now making his 2018 debut in what is the Astros' 18th game of the season. Astros come in with a mark of 10-7, trailing the Mariners in the AL West. Both teams looking up at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Mariners playing their 15th game of the year. They're 9-5. Springer takes a look at a breaking ball that bounces in there on Mike Margema. And we are underway with a bounced curveball. Springer started last night off by taking James Paxton deep off the scoreboard in left field. He crushed the pitch on a 3-1 delivery.
Trying to do it again.
George in his career against Miranda has 4 hits and 15 at bats. All 4 of them solo home runs. Miranda ahead 1-2. There's that fastball around 92. The splitter comes in around 80. You just saw that slider around 82. Change up around 83, 84. Fastball and he catches the corner. Springer goes down looking. Sean Barber, the home plate umpire tonight, calls George out on strikes. The defense behind Ariel Miranda looks like this. We saw the Mariners defense last night, presented by Xfinity, really go out and get it in the outfield. Tonight it's going to be Ichiro out in left field, D. Gordon in center, and Mitch Haniger is in right field. Kyle Seager and Gene Segura left side of the infield. Robinson Cano and Daniel Vogelback the right side, and Mike Margema catches Miranda. Altuve in his 1,000th game swings at the first pitch and grounds to short. That's how his game number 1,000 starts. He hit it hard. Hit a couple balls hard last night, but didn't have much to show for it.
He'll get things going. I know the power numbers aren't exactly there for Jose Altuve. The average still above 300, but he is going to be swinging the bat all throughout the season like we've seen him in the last 6 or 7.
Hit a ball to the wall in right field last night and then lined out in his final plate appearance. Here's Carlos Correa. And Miranda starts him off with a fastball for a strike. Astros trying to get the offense going. Had another great pitching performance last night. Dallas Keuchel turning in a complete game. There was nobody warming up in the bullpen the whole night. And the Astros tied it or taken that game into the bottom of the 9th inning. A.J. Hinch said Dallas Keuchel was going back out there. Unfortunately for Dallas, it ended up being an 8-inning complete game. He was back on form, only allowing a couple of runs.
Just another good sign for that Houston Astros rotation to get him going.
The good sign during all this, and it's not been fun watching this offense struggle, but the good sign is once the offense even becomes close to where they were last year, this pitching staff is lighting it up right now. That guy just won AL Player of the Week. Garrett Cole could have won Player of the Week if he pitched twice instead of once.
Almost had as many punch outs.
Miranda gets a strikeout there, getting Correa to end the first. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out. The Mariners lefty starts out strong. Down 1-2-3 in the top half, and Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound tonight for the Astros.
Lance is probably happy to be back out there and try and redeem himself. Had a rough outing last time in Minnesota on the road. His numbers in 15 games, 4-4, 5.70 ERA. He's another one of those guys for the Houston Astros who likes pitching back home at Minute Maid Park. Actually has some pretty good numbers here at Safeco Field, though. 2-2 with a 3.46 ERA. Interesting to see that hard hit percentage jump 10 points here on the road.
Facing D. Gordon, and he starts him off with a pitch that just misses. McCullers will have Brian McCann behind the plate tonight. Despite the coolish temperatures, most of the players wearing the long sleeves or 3/4 sleeves. Lance going without any sleeves tonight. D. Gordon joining the Mariners in the offseason, really bringing a lot of energy to this team. Into the clubhouse, on the field, off the field. And here's a look at their lineup. D. Gordon at the top. They are really doing a nice job 1 through 6. Gene Segura, Robinson Cano all hitting over 300. Nelson Cruz, 3 of his 4 hits have been home runs. Kyle Seager, Mitch Haniger, Daniel Vogelback, Ichiro, and Mike Marchima for Scott's service tonight. Gordon fouls the curveball. It's 1-2. There is the Mariners manager. He is very pleased with the way his team has gone lately. They have won 5 out of 6. And they have not had a lot of success against the Astros through the years. And last night ended a 6-game losing streak to Houston with that 2-1 victory. That guy was a big part of it as he tied the game against Dallas Keuchel. He really was the only guy that was on Keuchel all night long.
He's got a pretty good history of that.
Bumped it up 4 degrees from last night's opening pitch. We start tonight at 51.
It's almost nice.
Almost balmy. Compared to Minneapolis, 51's the highest we've seen for the last 5 road games. Not going to get much better going to Chicago this weekend. 1-2 pitch. Misses outside and low. It's 2-2.
You know, I was cruising by A.J. Hinch's office earlier today, and he had the Pittsburgh game on. And I thought that there was a little staticky and asked him if the picture was okay, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It's snowing."
Weather this year has been unreal throughout the major leagues.
It's kind of fun to read some of the articles where they say they want to shorten the season by 20 games and make it 142 games. And that's another conversation that popped up with AJ. And we kind of sat there and said, even if you started the games April 15th, you're getting snow on the 2nd day of the season.
Just inside of D. Gordon is 3-2. I mean, I understand the concept. You take away some of those March dates in early April and you're bettering your chances of
increasing your opportunity.
You're increasing your odds.
Mother Nature's a tough date, man.
Playing up in those cold climates in March is no picnic. 3-2, swing and a miss. Lance gets him to chase the fastball away. And McCullers has his first strikeout of the night.
Had to work for it. Our Best in Texas Power pitch is presented by Ford. Fastballs in his last start. Almost half of them called for balls. So the effectiveness of Lance McCullers and that fastball curveball mix relies a lot on him being able to get ahead early. Because if he can pitch with that in the zone effectively with the curveball, you can see that he's going to get some called strikes. The foul balls, he's tough to square up because those 2 pitches are so effective.
Lance gets to field 1 on the chopper back to him on the first pitch to Gene Segura. So after a long at bat by D. Gordon, McCullers able to get Segura on 1 pitch.
That was kind of nice. Single game strike percentage, lowest on fastball in career. That Minnesota game, 36% of the time the fastball was getting over. That is not good. He's already a 50-50 guy, and then you eliminate the fastball from your thought process because he can't get it over. Guess what pitch I'm sitting on? Curveball, and that led to an escalated hard hit percentage.
Yeah, and it escalated quickly on him too.
You ain't lying.
It was all in that 4th inning in Minneapolis where he starts Cano off with a strike. Lance faced 10 batters in that inning and gave up 8 runs. He started that inning having allowed 2 hits, but he walked 3. His walks were problematic last start.
6 of them. Just as many walks as strikeouts.
He kind of lamented the fact that he pitched more against the scouting report of the Twins than he did to his strength. Cano sends one deep to center field. He got a lot of that one, and this ball is gone. Robbie Cano on an 0-2 pitch hits one out to center field. That's Robinson Cano's first home run of the year, and the Mariners are out 1-0.
Sweet swinging Robbie Cano. Astro fans are familiar with him squaring up baseballs against them. Not an awful pitch, but in a 2-strike count on our MD Anderson strike zone, you'd like to see that a little bit further down out of the zone, bury it a little bit, force Brian McCann to block it, maybe get the chase, the swing over the top. But Robinson Cano looked as if he might have been anticipating curveball, got one he could get under and raked it.
Just a nice, easy swing, sending that ball out to center field. 14th career home run for Cano in 89 games against the Astros. That shatters in the hands of Nelson Cruz, and Altuve makes the play for the final out of the inning. 1-0 Seattle on the solo home run by Cano.
Today, 1,000th career Major League game. What's your favorite Altuve superlative? Is it the single season hit record? Or was it July 2017 when he put up 48 hits? Or game 1 of the ALDS against the Red Sox, went deep 3 times? Or is it something else? Tweet us at ATT Sportsnet SW. TK.
Wow, great superlatives to choose from.
I know what I'm going to put in the write-in. Just adorbs.
Oh, if Adorbs was in there.
Yeah, that's my write-in.
That would have gotten a lot of votes. That is Plummer's favorite.
That's all I have to say about him. He's the most adorable human being ever, and he rakes.
Here we go into the second inning. Yuli Gurriel. You know, Yuli's riding an 0 for 7 right now, but he hit a couple balls last night that were just rockets.
That's what he does. That is what Yuli Gurriel has turned into, is an exit velo guy.
He hit one that Mitch Haniger ran down nicely and right, and then he hit one to center in the 9th inning that had over an 80% hit probability, but he hit it right at D. Gordon.
Earlier before the game, I had a chance to talk to Edgar Martinez and talk to him about his approach. It was a lot of fun. It was interesting, but a lot of what he said is similar to what I feel about Yuli Gurriel. He's an up the middle the other way guy and adjusts in. He doesn't think about that inside corner. Really thinks about just driving the ball up the middle, that right center field gap. A doubles machine, just like Edgar Martinez. Big RBI guy, but very good hitters to create contact.
That's a nice comp, Yuli and Edgar. Edgar is about as complete a right-hand hitter as you will see. And Yuli has started out his career nicely with the Astros, just missing hitting 300 last season. And Yuli wins this battle of the two Cubans. Ariel Miranda against Yuli Gurriel. And he's going to challenge Ichiro and go for second. And Yuli showing some speed in there easily. Pena flying around first base with a leadoff double.
And usually you don't expect to challenge Ichiro Suzuki's arm, no matter where he is in the outfield, but a great piece of hitting. Might have been that hanging split up in the zone, and Yuli laid back on it nicely, smoked it into left, and was off to the races. Kind of seemed as if Yuli anticipated going two, which is great. Great example for kids at home watching the game of baseball. Bust it hard out of the box just in case.
Here's Alex Bregman, moved down to the 5 spot. Just a little different look for the first 5 in the order. Alex with an RBI opportunity here. Takes a pitch for a ball. Yuli really got around from home to second. And
it's almost like spring training for him.
I
got some ABs on his rehab assignment, but
maybe it's because I haven't seen him in a while. I want to say that was quicker than I would have seen him run home to second last year. It looked like he was a little faster. I like to see
up at his feet per second.
Seriously, have to see if he moves up that Sprint Statcast leaderboard.
I love how there was a lot of talk about the lineup change, putting Altuve in that 2-hole. He's going to get some more ABs. He's obviously a guy you can put anywhere in the lineup, but moving Bregman to the 5th hole, that's not a bad move. That's an RBI benefit for Alex Bregman. And you're seeing it here in his first AB with Yuli in that leadoff double. I liked hitting in that 5, 6, 7 part of the order because you knew you're going to get some opportunities with those thumpers in the middle of the lineup on base.
Yeah, it's not a big adjustment. It's just a different slot in the order. The guys are used to always seeing their name in the 3 spot if you're Altuve, or in the 4 spot if you're Correa. But it's a little something different. Try and mix it up tonight. Bregman on the ground, diving stop by Seager, and he kind of double pumps, and that's going to allow Bregman to be safe, and the ball gets away from Vogelback, and Gurriel gets the 3rd. Initially, it was a great stop by Seager, but the rest of the play went awry, and the Astros have runners on the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, I would imagine this has got to be a hit for Alex Bregman, and then Yuli moving to third base on the air. Pretty good job of Seager laying out, but just great hustle. Seager lays out, then he keeps an eye on Yuli, and in doing so bobbles the baseball, and that bobble leads to Alex Bregman being safe easily. But Vogelbach is not, he's not a first baseman first. He is a hitter first and a first baseman because there's a guy named Nelson Cruz that DHs a lot.
Well, he needed to realize that Bregman was already getting to the base. And in that process, you have to come off the bag to make sure that ball doesn't get away.
Great look on our Mattress Room Supermo. Just that slight hesitation, taking his eye off it, but I'm with you. Understanding that Alex is going to be there, go ahead, get off the bag, make sure you secure the baseball and keep the runner at second base.
Now the corners are in with Josh Reddick in a 1-1 count. Astros with back-to-back base hits. Yuli Gurriel a double, Alex Bregman a single. Josh has reached an 11 straight starts. Did not start last night against the lefty James Paxton. Came on as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning. Reddick down to the count 1-2. Well, Julia mentioned it as she tossed it up to us here before the game. The bottom part of the order has been struggling this year, and that's one thing about the 2017 Astros. They circled 1 through 9 in the lineup without a drop-off at all.
There's a lot of the emphasis in the offseason in between 2016 and 17 because there were some gaping holes behind Carlos Correa in that bottom portion of the order. They bring on guys like Josh Reddick. Carlos Beltran was another guy that mixed in there. MLB ranks are not good.
No, they'll change, but early on it's quite shocking because at the beginning of last season the Astros 7, 8, 9 hitters had done more than a lot of teams middle of their lineup order.
You could have taken that 7, 8, 9 and put them in the middle of a lot of big league batting orders and they'd produce.
So it's not like the Reddick, it's the same names. It's the Reddicks and Marisniks and Gattises. Josh is off to a nice start, but Evan and Jake have Started out slowly this year. A little change. We're 16, 17 games in now. As Altuve told Julia, just a little more than 10% of the schedule. Josh bounces one to first. Vogelback goes to second. They get the force out there, and that's it. In the score comes Gurriel, and we're tied at 1 on the Josh Reddick RBI Fielder's Choice. Josh Reddick picks up his 8th run batted in of the season. And here's Evan Gattis. See hitless in his last 4. Evan trying to snap an 0 for 11 as he starts tonight. Takes a pitch high and away for ball 1. Astros and Mariners on a Tuesday night from Safeco Field. Astros winning the season series the last 3 years against Seattle. 14-5 last year was the final total. Ball up the middle, base hit. Gattis with a single to center. And the Astros have their 3rd hit of the inning. Reddick to second. And Evan Gattis on first base. This is a Twitter Tuesday. Glad you could join us tonight. Todd Callis, Jeff Blum, Julia Morales. Gattis is happy about that base hit. If you have something you'd like to tweet, send it to @ATT Sportsnet SW. What do you like best about the reigning AL MVP, and what are your favorite memories or moments? We are celebrating Jose Altuve and his 1,000th game. Alex said his favorite memory was seeing his jersey on the clearance rack after 2012. No more clearance rack now.
Jeez.
Here is Brian McCann. Glad the Astros bats are coming alive a little bit this inning with the 3 hits, because it's been dormant lately. And we appreciate everybody that has tweeted us, and I mean everybody, because there's been a lot, about how last year all the luck changed with the Grasshopper game that we broadcast from Seattle. Just like the Astros in 2017, turning the page to 2018. We love all your support of the Grasshoppers, but that was something special to last season. Tonight's going to be more about a Twitter Tuesday on our Twitter Tuesday. But
there was a lot of special things about 2017. It's tough to go back and erase a lot of the things that happened, but one of those big things was that Grasshopper game, the Grasshopper chopper.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on where the Astros broke out, and we appreciate all the fans who enjoyed that moment, but we're going to cut the cord. We've been told to cut the cord. It's all over. No more Grasshopper fun for us.
They still sell them here. So
you can come to Seattle and get yours. We're not going to get ours.
On the down low, we could. We're just not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not going to say anything about it.
We're moving forward.
So when I say that I'm going to get a waffle, you know what I mean.
Wink, waffle, wink.
Yep, get it. Stay with me.
2-1 the count to Brian McCann. We have a good topic today, though.
Yeah, Altuve's great.
Altuve's 1,000. I love the fact that when Julia went up to talk to him today, he's like, wait, today? 1,000's today? Like, no idea. Like, I knew he knew it was close. Yeah, just playing the game.
No, this is his passion. This is his love. You know, it's like, I don't know how many days I've been with my wife. I love her to death, but you know, he loves the game. He's not keeping track of days. He's going to try and do this as long as he possibly can.
Absolutely. And at least 7 more years with the Astros.
And I am thankful that he's going to continue to do it as long as he can, because he is such a joy for me to watch.
There's not many broadcasts that drop in the word adorbs.
and you truly understand what that means when we put Altuve up there.
Everything he does is special.
He had a great moment yesterday. That the lady that was suffering from cancer, he goes over, he makes it a point.
So emotional.
Yeah, he brings an element to the game that is truly personal, and that's why we love him so much.
3-2 pitches, pop, foul out of play.
You got
McCann's
it?
hanging in there.
You got it. Oh, you could have had
I
it.
could have had it.
Gosh.
I was focused on the field, and I didn't see that one coming.
That was,
That was right
angle.
in front of us. Yeah, I retweeted what a fan sent out. So if you want to check it out, at Real Todd Callis.
That was great.
Yeah, it was emotional, and the lady just was overwhelmed and in recovery, and Jose Altuve made her day. So you may want to check that out if you're on Twitter tonight. McCann's seen a lot of pitches here from Ariel Miranda, and he draws a walk. Really good plate appearance by the Astros catcher Brian McCann to load the bases for Jake Marisnick.
Increase that pitch count. Load the bases up. Standard Astro inning where there's a lot of traffic on those base paths.
And we're going to get a mound visit right now with Jake Marisnick batting with the bases loaded. You know, Jake has struggled so far this year. It's hitting 146, a couple of early home runs in Texas, but not much since then. What an opportunity for him to break out with the bases loaded and 1 out in a tie game. Long discussion on the mound, and now we're ready to go.
Twitter is alive, TK. Fans are all over it. A lot of Altuve memories, a lot of pictures. And I saw a pretty good write-in vote that I could go along with. His commercial where he says, "I'm pretty good."
That's
one
of
a
our
good
favorites.
one. That's our go-to.
There's some good ones now too. I don't know if you've seen the more recent ones with him and Springer and Correa.
Yeah.
Those are some good ones with HEB.
Those are great.
Those are real.
Those are clever.
They're really well done, and just being himself. Altuve doesn't try and be funny, but just being himself, he's funny.
Yes.
It's just, he's perfect. All right, let's see if Jake can get things rolling now. It's a 1-1 game. Astros have bunched 3 hits and a walk in this inning. The infield's back deep enough that they're hoping to turn 2. Inside, 1-1.
Tell you what, Jake runs pretty good. It's going to be a tough turn.
Well, when I said deep enough, because they're back, but not all the way back, because they know with Jake's speed.
It's tough too because Josh Reddick at third base, he runs pretty good and he gets great jumps on the base paths. He's going to anticipate ball on the ground. But Jake right now is looking for something he can elevate deep enough in the outfield to bring in a run.
Even though Jake's 2 for 8 in his career against Miranda, his last 2 at bats are double home run. So
I like it.
The 2 came after the 0 for 6. So see if he can keep that streak going. Just takes 1. We saw Gaddis snap an 0 for 11. Now Jake trying to snap an 0 for 12.
Trying to get that heater in on the hands. We talked about the split finger that he has. We've seen a couple of sliders, but you start throwing some heat on the inside. Hitters start to clear out the front side a little bit to try and get to that pitch. It opens up that outside corner for some off speed.
28 pitches this inning for Miranda after he eased into the game with a strong first inning. Upstairs, full count to Marisnick. Now Miranda has to come in with something. Reddick on third, Gaddis on second, McCann on first. 30th pitch of the inning coming from Miranda. And we'll do it again at 3-2.
Borderline, good job by Jake fighting that one off.
Jake keeps checking with Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, on his last 2 swings that they were strikes.
Sean Barber said, I don't know.
You expect me to be watching? That's a call, 3rd strike. Miranda strikes out Marisnick, and there's now 2 outs in the inning.
That one clearly more in the zone, in the upper part of the strike zone. Jake unable to pull the trigger.
Miranda was able to strike out Springer his first time up, but here comes George with the bases loaded, and Miranda having thrown a lot of pitches in this inning.
Just takes one.
Watch out for the ambush. Down and in. Did you used to ask umpires, hey, was that a strike if I wouldn't have swung?
Only if I was trying to annoy him. Because more often than not, I knew if I was swinging at a ball, just I could tell by my swing. But there's times you turn around and go, you would have called that, wouldn't you?
George fouls one away. It's 1-1.
But it was more just a a competitive, fun banter. It wasn't.
But some guys use that information to kind of
there would be times where it felt you as a hitter, the strike zone well enough. You could feel if a pitch was on the edge, and you'll turn around and go, is that as far out as you'll go? And you're almost asking that question, or asking him to set the boundary right there. Because if they agree to it, then you can stay off the pitch outside that. But if he gives you the maybe a little bit more, then you know that you maybe have to increase a little bit off that outside edge. So it's kind of a feeler of a question to see where the umpire's at.
It's been a feeler of an inning for Ariel Miranda here. He has thrown a lot of balls in this inning, about 50-50. And he's down 2-1, and he slows it up on George. It's now 2-2.
Pulled the string on that one.
After striking out Marisnik and Springer to get through a bases loaded 1-out situation.
Taking on Kyle Seager is brought to you today by AARP. In his career, 21 games, .381 batting average, the on-base percentage almost at 46%. Pretty big number, and the slugging at .619, so a matchup you may want to watch the rest of the day. Brought to you by AARP.
Hit a home run against Lance last time they matched up. Lance now with the game tied at 1, back out there to work, having thrown 14 pitches in the first inning. And he starts him off with that breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-1. Seager not only has numbers against McCullers, but since April 10th, 10 for 23, hitting .435. Coming into this series, Mariners 1 through 6 hitters had the best OPS in the American League and second best in baseball. Might be surprised to learn that the best in baseball was the Atlanta Braves. Braves hitters have been off to a hot start this year. Called strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Change up.
A little change piece from Lance. Saw a little bit of that last start.
But again, like you said, maybe pitching against what his original plan was against the Minnesota Twins. Then things started to escalate like we were talking about with some of the walks and inability to get the fastball over. You're going to start throwing some different pitches.
On the ground, Correa, nicely done. The full reach and the pick by Gurriel. Lance appreciates his shortstop's defensive work on that play.
Much like Dallas Keuchel appreciated it last night. A lot of ground balls Carlos's way, and in the shift, just in the perfect position. And just in watching him play and being a taller middle infield guy, that is not an easy play for a guy the size of Carlos Correa. To be on a full sprint going to your left and be able to get the glove down to make the play, it's not a normal body movement for a guy that size.
Mitch Haniger takes a strike. Full extension.
Full sprint, breaking it down. It's kind of that tweener whether you dive or not. But in not diving, it enabled him to make that spin move and a good throw.
Still less than 20 games in, but his defense has been outstanding in 2018.
You can see the extension and the pressure that he puts on that left leg as he goes down to make the play. Pretty smooth pick on the other end by Yuli. A couple more changeups in this AB to Haniger.
A little righty on righty change piece, huh?
It's not bad to mix it up a little bit. We know that it can be a 50-50 game for Lance McCullers, but just that added wrinkle, that extra mystery pitch that you throw in there, throw guys off. Because what they're going to do is he's going to go back to the dugout and they're going to ask him, what were those first 2 pitches? And he's going to say changeup, and they're going to go, wow, throw it right on right.
This time he tries to get Haniger to swing. He does. First base umpire Adrian Johnson punches him out, and that is McCullers' second strikeout. 2 outs in the second. Catch one of the best ballpark bargains with the Coca-Cola ballpark bundle. $20 gets you a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn for select weekday games. Visit astros.com/ballpark bundle for tickets and info. Daniel Vogelback is the batter. He hit a ball here Saturday.
Ooh.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was.
You look at it.
Yeah, that was a bomb.
They have a sign in right field just above the suite level that says "Hit it here, Cafe." He didn't hit it there. He hit it over the sign. This is a long distance from home plate. Estimated distance on the home run was 433, but seems like it could have been longer than that.
Doesn't make any sense. That just to your eyes, that doesn't say 433 from where we're at.
Big man at the plate, down in the count 0-2. Lance tries to get him to chase the breaking ball.
I think I called him Vogelbach. It's Vogelback.
Yeah, they have a couple strange ones. Freitas instead of Freitas.
Yeah.
And then Vogelback instead of Vogelback. I would have
He's
gone.
not a fan of classical music, huh?
No,
It's
apparently
too bad.
not. Apparently he's not a big fan of Bach because they go with the same spelling, but Bach is the pronunciation, I'm told. So 2-2 to Vogelback. And he goes down swinging. Lance gets him for a strikeout. 2 in a row, 3 in the game. And when we come back, guess who leads off? It's Twitter Tube.
Of course, fair pitch, but you know, I couldn't believe I was in the big list. But I also knew that I have to work hard every single day to stay on the big list, because one thing is getting to the big league, and another thing is getting to stay.
Seems like just yesterday, right? Jose Altuve making his major league debut for the Houston Astros and getting that first hit. Tried to tell me today that he still gets nervous before every first at bat in each game. Not sure I believe him on that, but after a lot of at bats, but that just goes to show how much fun this guy has playing this game. And he really means what he says, in that when he came up, it was so important for him to just play every day on this level, and to keep his spot on the roster. And here he is all these years later. Hey, guys, oh, of course he does.
How adorable is that?
Well, I just wanted to throw some trivia at you. He got picked up by the airport on that day that he made his major league debut by an intern, Chris Peixoto.
Really?
Chris
He
Peixoto.
was an intern when he picked up Altuve. Now, of course, a big part of that PR department for the Houston Astros.
Still an intern.
He peaked. He peaked early. Picking up Altuve.
Yeah, does he take that to the arbitration table? I'm the reason he's here. That's what Peixoto needs to say. I am the reason Altuve is here.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just happy Altuve went back for a second tryout.
Yeah. Relentless. Me too.
Imagine if he's in Venezuela and he talks to his dad and says, you know what, that second tryout, I'm done. I didn't make it. Who knows? Who knows?
A lot of hits left behind. Glad we don't have to imagine that. What I love is his understanding of the game. It's one thing to get to the big league. It's another thing to stick. Mm-hmm. And he continues to work to get better and stick around. That's probably still his mentality.
I don't know if there is a limit on the number of likes you're allowed on Twitter in one game, but Julia's going to try and break the record tonight.
I'm liking all of the Altuve tweets.
I'm trying to too, man, but they're coming too fast.
The memories are phenomenal.
Yeah, everyone's got something they've seen, or it's a lot of games that we've watched Altuve, and so from the beginning until now, so many special moments, and you guys talking about some of the off the field stuff that he's done as well. It's great. I'm gonna like all of them. You joked earlier about him not really knowing it was his 1,000th game. Not that that's something talked about in the clubhouse or really celebrated in there, but it was funny after the interview. He said, "I'm just glad I got my 1,000th hit before my 1,000th game."
Unbelievable.
Well, humility has been a popular topic today for their favorite Altuve memory.
Yeah. And the availability, it's amazing.
How he's always deferring to his teammates. How he always talks about how he's just lucky that they pitched to the little guy instead of Correa. They want to pitch to the little guy. And the joy for the game, just watching how much fun he has when he plays the game. To me, that's one of my favorites. Correa thought he'd just drawn a walk, but Sean Barber had other ideas and called that pitch an outside corner strike. It's 3-2.
AJ had a quote yesterday when we had asked him about Altuve and just all the accomplishments that he has already and all the awards he's racked up already, and he said, it'll be fun to see what he does with his next 1,000 games. I mean, these are the games that could make him one of the greatest to ever play this game.
He was on the move, and it didn't matter because Correa draws the walk. So Altuve after a single, and now Correa with a walk. Astros putting a lot of pitches on Ariel Miranda, and now they have the first two on in a tie game in the third. Here's that 1,000th hit that he said he's happy to get before his 1,000th game.
His first big league hit is inside out going the other way. Why not make 1,000 a bullet to left field?
Two on, nobody out, and Yuli Gurriel the batter. And early in his career, there was so much attention paid to the how many Altuves because his size was so different than anybody else on the field. And when we see him standing next to an Aaron Judge, you see the difference. We mentioned this in spring training. There's a lot of people in high school now, or even in middle school. Nobody can complain about being the shortest of their class and not wanting to play a sport.
Yeah.
That ball's hit hard, but Seager spears it, and he doubles up Altuve. That's kind of the luck that Yuli Gurriel's been hitting into lately. It hasn't been good luck as he rips a ball to the third baseman and ends up being a double play.
Tough to freeze on that line drive. That was a BB off the bat of Yuli Gurriel. Pretty easy catch and throw. Coming into your living room. Just that little hesitation.
Well, it's good to see Yuli making solid contact. It's just a matter of time before these start becoming RBIs instead of outs or double plays. Here's Alex Bregman. He singled his first time up. This is in there, blocked by Margin. It's 1-1. A lot of people are writing in their favorite memory when Altuve needed the triple for the cycle.
That was downright hilarious. And his helmet sniped him as he was going around second base. Woo! He did not have that look on his face. He was laughing at himself.
A pitch inside. It's 2-1. There you go.
That's the one.
Kareem, Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of them. Bregman under this one, lost it into shallow left, so shallow that shortstop Segura will make the play. And that'll do it. 2 on to start the inning, but a line drive double play helps spoil that rally.
Go to.
Needs a
Go.
triple for the cycle.
Man down. The best is that he's not mad. He's laughing because he knows that was just an unbelievable happenstance of the helmet hitting him in the back of the foot, and then it's just pull the ripcord. He gone.
The fact that he hit the bag too on his way down.
And I think it was a week later we were in Anaheim, Los Angeles, Orange County, Glendale, whatever they call it now, where the Angels play.
Yes.
And that guy Mike Trout that plays center field for him, pretty good.
Yeah.
Wears the number 27. They kind of had a laugh about it before the game. Guess what happened later in that game?
Same thing.
Mike Trout wipes out at second base, and there was just, I mean, 12-year-old boys laughing at second base about the whole situation. It was pretty comical.
A lot of moments, a lot of memories. Tonight is Jose Altuve's 1,000th career game. It is a Twitter Tuesday, but we're calling it Twitter Tuesday for part of the night. Now the two guys that have the most hits ever through 1,000 games amongst foreign-born players. You have Ichiro and Jose Altuve. Ichiro with the most, Tuve second on that list.
So it was the next series where the Astros were in the vicinity of Los Angeles, and Mike Trout popped one up, landed in fair territory, took off towards second base, looking for more, and maybe Altuve tripped him.
Altuve gets to make a play on Ichiro here and out at first base. So two of the best hitters in our generation. Altuve throws out Ichiro, and there's one out in the third.
I forgot that Mike Trout turned around and pointed at Altuve like, yeah, I knew that was going to come back and get me. We talked about it, touched on it a little bit in the open. We show so many offensive highlights and production numbers from Jose Altuve that this is now my 6th year of sitting in this booth watching Jose Altuve grow. He has done leaps and bounds in getting better as far as a defensive second baseman. 2013-14, that was probably the real question mark on Jose Altuve. Is he a good enough second baseman? And he really is. But that's a couple of superstars recognizing each other. And he's like, are you kidding me? Stealing my move?
The fact that there's so much camaraderie with him and so many different players around the league. Somebody mentioned their favorite moment being the interview Julia did last year with him and Cabrera.
Oh man, that was a good one.
When Miggy told the story about how Altuve said he was struggling. He looked up his stats.
344.
Just great times. Houston, the Astros organization, very lucky to have him for the next 7 years in the first 1,000 games of his career. Marjima tried to hold up. Ooh, they said he did. Thought Adrian Johnson was going to punch him out. We saw another check swing earlier. Johnson said he went around. How about this one? Oop.
Ooh.
Could have.
Could have. Really could have.
Instead, Lance goes back to work in the 2-2 count. And he gets him this time. Strikeout number 4 for McCullers. Lance is now retired 6 in a row, 2 outs in the third.
Give back to the Houston community by joining the Astros Foundation Volunteer Corps. Take part in the volunteering on game day at Minute Maid Park, help with craft parties at local hospitals, and much more. Visit astros.com/volunteer to sign up now.
See, it's contagious. I couldn't go do ballpark bundle.
Ballpark blundle?
Ballpark bleh. I was like blundering through that ballpark bundle. Here is D. Gordon. Called strike. A lot of memories. And I love how a lot of people have their own personal pictures with Altuve too.
That's what I'm recognizing too. There's a ton of pictures of Altuve with either them or a family member. Time is a valuable possession for everybody in the world, but Altuve is more than willing to give up some of that to make a fan happy. Or to rag on one of his teammates in the middle of a play. There was a throw that he kind of lollipopped over to Gurriel. Guy was out by 30-40 feet, but he just kind of threw this lollipop, just kind of popped up in the air and floated over to first base, and Yuli kind of basket caught it. And Yuli looks back at him and goes, man, throw the ball next time. And you can kind of see him going back and forth. Ground ball comes to Altuve. A couple batters later, he comes up and crow hops. Woo! Throws a dart over to first base, and he goes, is that good? So, I mean, even in the process of the game, the guy's having a good time.
Yeah, the joy that he plays with is fun to watch. It just makes you enjoy his skills that much more. 2-2 the count to D. Gordon. Sends one down the line to left. The Astros play D. Gordon almost like a right-handed dead pull hitter, where Reddick, in this case, and Marwin last night are on the line.
That is not actual size.
And that changed the picture.
But that's the MVP Altuve. No doubt. It's well said. Great player, better person.
Two and two the count to D. Gordon.
You're right about this defensive alignment, though. They are daring D. Gordon to pull the ball. You can't even see Josh Reddick.
Nope.
I mean, he is playing like a dead pull right-handed hitter with a Nerf bat.
And he chops one foul.
It's one thing D. Gordon's done good here in his first 2 ABs is foul off or fight off that down and in curveball from Lance McCullers. But credit Lance for making good locations or good pitches and good locations with it, not allowing him to square it up and yank it down that right field line.
D and Lance have some things in common. Sons of major leaguers growing up in Florida. D. Gordon, the son of Tom Flash Gordon. Lance McCullers, of course, the son of Lance McCullers. So they know each other pretty well. D struck out his first time against Lance. On the ground, Correa backhands, plants and throws on one hop. Carlos Correa playing some defense in the Emerald City. And we head to the fourth, tied at 1. Field last year had quite a year, batting over 400, 423 to be exact. 7 runs batted in. Reddick in this season has reached in 11 straight games, but there's a lot of solid contact in this stadium for Josh Reddick.
A lot of beauty in that. Nothing like raking in those throwbacks and being able to save that to your hit tape. Those are always fun.
Yeah, always a good look wearing those rainbow unis. As Ariel Miranda starts off Josh with a strike on a breaking ball. Josh grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Astros bunching 3 hits together in that second inning, and then Brian McCann drew a walk to load the bases. But a couple of strikeouts got Miranda out of trouble. Robbie Cano with a little underhand flip to get Reddick for the first out of the 4th. Mentioned both teams starting the night trailing the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in the American League West. The Angels taking on the Boston Red Sox tonight. Pretty interesting pitching matchup. David Price against Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani out after 2 innings, allowing 3 runs.
Big Poppy called that one. David Ortiz tweeting out he can't wait to see the show against his team. And the way the Red Sox are going, with the 27 Yankees out there, they might not have a chance.
The Red Sox are out to a blistering start. 13-2 on the season. They've won 4 in a row. 9 out of 10. Evan Gaddis takes a pitch that misses. It's 3-0. Evan with a single his first time up. Red Sox and Angels coming into that series 26-5 combined.
Ooh.
Strike call to 3-1.
Be a good time for Evan to back one up and go all Paul Bunyan on one up here.
Thinking the same thing. A lot of trees up here in Seattle. High fly ball just got under this one. Ichiro puts it away for out number 2.
Baseball on Tap, presented by Budweiser, returns to Minute Maid Park on April 27th. With a special ticket, fans can enjoy beer tastings, live music, games, and more. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/baseball on tap.
Sounds like a fun time.
Oh, believe it.
Here's Brian McCann. McCann walked his first time up, saw a lot of pitches, got down to the count, then worked it full before drawing a walk. McCann coming in, not only batting above 300, but had a on-base percentage over 400. Miranda drops in the breaking ball. It's 1-1. Game 2 of this 4-game series between the Astros and the Mariners, as opposed to the Rangers-Astros series, which will wrap up by the end of July. The Mariners-Astros series will see a lot of action in the month of August. They'll play each other in 3 different series over a stretch of less than 3 weeks. AJ Hinch and Scott Service, former catchers, will be seeing a lot of each other after the All-Star break. McCann pulls through one on the 3-1 pitch. Hit into the upper deck.
Had McCann ball distance. Just bad location.
Still looking for that first McCann ball of 2018.
Yeah, I've got I'm kind of itchy to say it, not literally.
Up high, ball 4. McCann draws a walk for the 2nd straight time. He's a 2-out base runner. Service realizes that Miranda's pitch count is getting up there. Paxton last night threw 6 innings.
At least the Astros are creating traffic. Hopefully one of these times somebody gets that big hit, break things open a little bit, kind of crack that seal and get these guys going, because they have. I mean, I know the strikeouts are up, but at the same time they're still doing a good job of getting guys on base. Just haven't come through with those big hits. And the runners in scoring position number points to that.
Jake struck out his first time up with the bases loaded. Down to the count here, 0-2.
And with Jake up there on Altuve Tuesday, can't help but remember all the hat capers these guys went through. There were some entertaining moments too.
Marisnik and Altuve going back and forth through the years with their hats. A lot of them ended up in the stands. Got him upstairs with the fastball. 5th strikeout for Miranda. We're through 3.5, still tied at 1. Nation saddened to hear of the news today. First Lady Barbara Bush passing away at the age of 92. Baseball fan, Astros fan, somebody that you spent some time with, had a little dinner with.
Yeah, it was in an afternoon in 2003. What her and her husband did is they invited a couple Astros over to their offices, and we had lunch, and we just sat down and got to enjoy, the president and the first lady. And as entertaining as George H.W. could be, it was when Barbara rolled in that the story started happening and the questions started happening, and a lot of the enjoyment of that lunch happened. She was an amazing woman. She knew who all of us were. She knew a lot about the Astros, but highly entertaining and a woman that will be missed in this country for sure.
She was a big-time Astros fan, a great first lady. Her statement from Astros President of Business Operations, Reed Ryan. Gene Segura leads off the inning. Reed wrote or said, "Today's a very sad day for our city, for our entire nation." As First Lady Mrs. Bush epitomized grace, dignity, and strength. As a humanitarian, she impacted the lives of so many young people through the work of her foundation for literacy and more. As Houstonians and frequent visitors to Minute Maid Park to watch their beloved Astros, we had the great privilege of getting to know Mrs. Bush and President Bush personally. And while at the ballpark, both always greeted everyone from the ticket takers to the ushers with a warm, friendly smile. And Reed finished by saying, "On behalf of the Houston Astros, I send my heartfelt condolences to the entire Bush family and to Mrs. Bush's many friends and admirers."
Well said. And you always knew when they were in the ballpark. Right behind home plate.
Love that Astros historian Mike Acosta found that scorecard of her keeping score of an Astros game against the Cardinals.
That was very cool.
Here's Robinson Cano. Cano hit a home run against Lance McCullers. That's not only the only run scored against Lance, it's the only base runner he's allowed tonight. Lance striking out Gene Segura to start this inning, has struck out 5. This offensive struggle lately for the Astros and the dearth of runs would be glaring enough lately, but it becomes even more glaring when you consider some of the pitching performances they've received that end up in a no decision or even a loss.
Yeah, it's astonishing. As well as those numbers look, it's amazing that just a couple of runs crossing over, this could be a completely different ball club.
This is a 5th starter in the rotation in terms of the sequence. Lance had a bad one last time out, but a sequence where the last 4 starts have been unbelievably good starts. Beginning with Garrett Cole, going to Charlie Morton, then Justin Verlander Sunday night, Dallas Keuchel last night, and now Lance trying to complete that cycle. And unfortunately, none of them have wins, and the Astros have only won 1 game during that stretch. And now is on an unearned run in a 3-2 victory where the bullpen picked up the victory. Colors down in the count, 3-1 to Cano. Cano hit an 0-2 pitch, a breaking ball over the right center field wall. This time he grounds one towards Yuli. Gurriel will take it himself, and that's out number 2.
This pitching performance is powered by Kubota. The numbers that Todd had been speaking to, last 4 combined starts. ERA of 2.17. The opponent batting average, a .57. Only 4 walks, and the number that really sticks out is that strikeouts. Those 4 combined starts, 43 punch-outs for the starters in those 4 starts. That is impressive stuff. Guys going out, not being fazed by what the offense is doing. They are taking care of their business, just waiting for the offense to start stepping up and taking care of theirs.
And they're also eating up a lot of innings.
Oh, man, yeah.
Dallas 8 innings. Verlander 8 innings. Garrett Cole 7 innings. And Charlie Morton 6 innings. Lance is in a good spot tonight so far. Ground ball. The only one on the right side of the infield is Yuli, and Yuli's going to hand it off to Lance so that Lance can get a put out as the inning ends. A strikeout and 2 ground outs, and we head to the 5th, tied at 1.
double until Mitch Haniger appeared out of nowhere. Making a good effort. That qualifies as a 5-star catch. 25% catch probability, and he made it happen. We're going to give him a red. Exceptional out there in the outfield. D. Gordon still learning his way out there in center field, moving from second base. And Ichiro out there in left. He used to be a red. A little age, a little bit of tread on those tires, slowing him down just a little bit. And you saw Yuli take advantage of him earlier in the game.
Seen a couple of 44-year-olds play against the Astros the last 3 games. Bartolo Colon looked pretty good on Sunday night. And Ichiro still roaming the outfield at age 44 as George Springer digs in there. Springer facing Ariel Miranda for the 3rd time tonight. He struck out looking in the first, struck out swinging in the second. There is the ageless Ichiro, who has stated he'd like to play till age 50.
Come on.
Seems a little ambitious. George taps one right in front of the plate. Marjama out there bare hands and makes the play for out number 1. Julia.
Hey, as Jose Altuve comes up here, looking back at his career with the Houston Astros, 1,000 career games, and really the year that stands out is that 2014 season. 2013 an All-Star, but 2014 is where he made it known he was one of the best in the game, and the hitting, obviously, was setting the single season record for hits with the 225. The 341 average is incredible. The stolen bases, though, going from 35 to 56. What Altuve did was there were things he worked on with his swing, obviously the load, the swing itself. There were a lot of things he did as far as that goes, but his weight. That was the year he really worked, that offseason, really worked on his weight, got leaner, got faster, and wanted to be a better base runner. And that's when he became an all-around better player, and he hasn't slowed down since.
Altuve making a bid to right field. Haniger all the way back at the track, and he makes the catch up against the fence for the 2nd night in a row. Altuve sends one to the wall in right field, still bidding for his 1st home run of the year.
Leaned back on that one. Maybe just a little bit too high on that launch angle. 38 degrees off the bat. Came down just in the vicinity where Haniger could make the play. Only 99.8 miles an hour off the bat.
This is the 18th game of the year for the Astros and Altuve. Last year, he did not hit a home run until the 18th game of the season, ended up with 24. As Carlos Correa, just kind of a half swing, served it into center field for a 2-out base hit.
He just kind of massaged it out there.
And here's Yuli. Yuli has doubled, scored the Astros' only run, and then lined into a double play.
Half swing produced a 92-mile-an-hour bullet up the middle.
Outside, ball 1. The count. Astros with 5 hits. Mariners with just 1 as we play in the 5th. Cool night, not quite as chilly as last night. The roof was open for batting practice for a while, and then it started to rain, and they closed it up. Yuli up the middle, off the glove of Cano. Correa forgot there were 2 outs because he froze on the line drive. Not sure if he would have been able to go 1st to 3rd anyhow, but Gurriel continues to hit seeds everywhere. His average exit velo is going to be way up there after the 1st week.
So he's only played in, what, 4 or 5 games, and he already looks like the most comfortable hitter in this lineup. Hitting rockets. 104.3 off the bat. Tried to take the glove of Robinson Cano right off.
See if the Astros can get a little 2-out rally going. Correa and Gurriel back-to-back hits. And Alex Bregman bats.
Huh.
Thing kept rising on Cano.
Yeah, it almost looked as if in his eyes he thought he had a chance to just make an easy play on that. It just kept taking off.
Once he's in there, it's 1-1. Mariners get bullpen action going. Jason Bradford warming up. Mariners activating Ariel Miranda today, but they kept their bullpen intact, an 8-man bullpen, as they sent out Taylor Motter. Had a couple of hits in the opening game of this series last night. Inside to Bregman, 2-1. Astros have had their share of base runners. Left the bases loaded in the second. Had 2 runners on to start the third. And now a little 2-out rally with 2 on here and Alex Bregman at the plate. Three and one.
Good time to hit.
Alex with an infield hit, and he's also popped to short. He can zone in right here. Mentioned the runners in scoring position numbers have been down. It's be a nice time to get that turned around for Bregman. Low ball 4. Bases are loaded. All this starting with 2 outs and nobody on. And we'll get another mound visit.
It's a good time for a talk.
Join the Astros for a ballpark tour. Go behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park. Check out areas like the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, and much more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your Astros ballpark tour today. Astros won't be around all week. 4 days here in Seattle, then on to Chicago for the weekend before returning back home. Pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre, catcher Mike Margema, Robbie Cano, and the pitcher Ariel Miranda. A little conference on the mound. Miranda will face Reddick here with the bases loaded, more than likely in his first start of the year. This will be the last batter Miranda will face either way. Josh Reddick already has a slam this year. 6th time in his career. Takes a strike. Reddick a couple of ground outs tonight. One a fielder's choice and one a ground ball to second. Ball's hit hard to center field, but Gordon is there. Puts it away. Astros leave the bases loaded again. They have left 8 on base in the last 4 innings, and we're still tied at 1.
McCullers getting back to work and putting that last start behind him as quickly as he could, but having some perspective on it as well with the career high 8 earned runs for him. And Brian McCann actually told him after that game, it could be one of the best starts of your career because where you go from here, what do you do with that? And he's obviously trying to become a complete pitcher. He said that several times starting in the spring, but he said, you know, it's a catch-22. You got to get there by trying different things. However, you got to stick to your strengths, and the weaknesses of the hitters can't sacrifice, of course, what you do best. And for him, it is that breaking ball. And AJ saying too, he's got to be aggressive. You cannot look ahead. Lance needs to get through the first time through the order before you look ahead to the third time through the order. For him, he's always that one pitch, one strikeout away from getting on a good roll. That is what makes him so great. So some perspective there from Lance on his last start. Today, we're already seeing the aggressor part of things as he is throwing the first pitch strikes, something he has struggled with in the recent start. So that is a positive sign moving forward, TK.
You're right about that, Julie. He's thrown, this will be his 60th pitch, 40 strikes, 19 out of the zone, now 41 and 19. So,
well, those numbers that were in the lower right are a great point to what Julie is talking about him being the aggressor. Tonight, 11 of 14 in first pitch strikes at 79%. We saw in the start before the start in Minnesota where he had 14 1-0 counts. The Minnesota start 13 1-0 counts. That is falling behind early, letting the hitter dictate the AB.
Yeah, Lance has been in command from the start of this one. He allowed a 2-out, 2-strike home run to Robinson Cano in the first inning on an 0-2 pitch. And that's it as we start the fifth. Astros have had base runners all over the place all night. Lance has been working out of the windup all night. And strikes out Seager, who had some success against him coming in. Lance picks up his 6th strikeout. First out of the fifth.
It's amazing during this stretch how the solo home run has hurt the Astros. Normally it doesn't work like that. Normally the solo home run, you just kind of tip your cap and go, okay, that's only one run I've given up. My offense will pick me up. But the solo home runs have proven to be costly when your offense isn't doing much.
Now McCullers facing Mitch Haniger. It's the same guys that led baseball in runs scored last year. That's the crazy part offensively.
It is. Pitch by pitch on Haniger is interesting to me. Just fastball away and then a couple of changeups. 89 mile an hour changeup, doubled up on it, got the swing. But the reason you get the check swing punch out on the curveball right there from Lance McCullers is because it looked similar to that changeup that you got Haniger to swing and foul off. So he used the changeup that he doesn't use frequently to set up the breaking ball he uses a ton.
As good as the numbers have been this year for Cano and others at the top of the lineup, if you ask Scott Service who has consistently given you the best at bats all year, he would say Mitch Haniger.
Yep.
And Lance was tough on him that first AB, and now ahead of him 1-2 after he just missed low with that last pitch. You know, Haniger's numbers don't jump out at you average wise. Does have the 15 runs batted in and 4 home runs. Playing a really solid defense for the Mariners this year. Doesn't chase there, it's 2-2. Love the fact that McCann, the veteran, can go up to Lance after giving up 8 earnings and say that could be the best start for you because you're going to learn from that, taking the positive out of it.
Tell you what, that was a good job by Haniger laying off that curveball. That's what veterans do. They've been around. McCann's seen a lot, done a lot, caught a lot, and why not turn that negative into a positive?
3-2. Usually the curveball. It is. Gets Haniger swinging. 7 strikeouts for Lance. Back to back to start the fifth. League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Starters this year for the Houston Astros have been off the charts. By far the best in strikeouts. No one even close in the majors. First in innings pitched. ERA, that'll win you a lot of games.
Should.
You're right.
Should.
Hasn't all the time.
More often than not.
Now Lance facing Daniel Vogelback.
3-2 curveball. High percentage of 3-2 curveballs Even though you know it's coming sometimes, it's tough to lay off it. Didn't spike that one. Good swing and miss.
At some point in that Game 7 of the ALCS, the Yankees had to notice the trend. That Lance was throwing just curveballs. So at some point, the Yankees went up there knowing the curveball was coming. They couldn't do anything about it. 24 straight to finish off Game 7 of the ALCS and send the Astros to the World Series. 2-1 the count. Vogelbach struck out swinging his first time up.
Hesitation at the top of the leg kick for Lance, trying to mix things up.
He was doing that. He was messing around with that in spring training on a couple starts. Kind of lingered a little longer over the rubber on that delivery and ended up bouncing it up there. 3-1. Pitch count has been solid. No more than 18. Well, McCann and Lance couldn't get together on the 3-1 pitch, and Brian's going to go out and have a word with him.
All right, have you found the mound visit scoreboard? Where are you at?
Runs, hits, errors, and mound visits.
MVs. We got MVs. Nice.
Right up there on the big board.
Well, it's a good thing they took off the LOB.
Right now it would be LOB's 8-0.
Oof.
They just switched it as we took that shot. I like that.
Yeah, MV action.
And when Altuve bats, they add a P to that.
Oh.
AP. 3-2 the count. He said, oh, was that a changeup?
No, that was a slider that was nowhere near to the strike zone.
He got one, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
MD Anderson tells us.
Nope. Close.
Wow. That's impressive.
Close enough. Bounce that one out there. Lance will be frustrated with that sequence. And he says, that's all right. 2-out walk shouldn't hurt me. Vogelbach's not going anywhere. Now I'll have to get Ichiro. Ichiro grounded out to Altuve his first time up. Ichiro's first professional season in Japan was 1992.
What?
1992 was his first professional season with the Oryx Blue Wave.
Man, oh man.
So he was 2 professional seasons into his career before Lance was born. Lance was born in October of '93, and Ichiro had already played 2 seasons in Japan.
And he's 44, you said?
Yep.
So if he plays 6 more years to 50?
That's what he wants.
It'll be 2024?
Ball's hit well, but Springer's there.
Why? Why?
We could talk about that when we come back. Lands a 2-out walk, doesn't hurt.
to show us, and you could win a VIP experience. North Texas, April is your chance to show your spirit, so tweet now and win big. Keep those tweets coming. We've had a few good ones already. Here they come. Oh, look at this little guy.
You look at him.
Astros family. These are fans in North Texas. That's what we're looking for.
It's your mom's competition.
Mom might not be able to win. I need to read the rules, the fine print. Because she's pretty upset about that. Keep those tweets coming, though. They're fun.
On we go to the 6th inning. Astros threatened, but it could only score 1 run against Ariel Miranda. Now they'll face the right-hander Dan Altavilla.
Good numbers, making his 8th appearance. 1.29 ERA, 9 punch-outs, 3 walks. Astros have experience against him. 10 games last season. He had a 2.53 ERA. Can bring it a little bit, averaging 95.4 on the fastball. There's a lot going on with that pitch, which was the slider, his secondary pitch.
Evan reached on a single his first time up, flied out to left last time. Miranda, despite allowing just the 1 run, was dancing in and out of trouble all night long. He allowed 6 hits and 4 walks in 5 innings of work. Astros leaving 8 base runners the last 4 innings. The Mariners finally left their first runner of the night in the last inning. There's that fastball that Plummer spoke up, and he just missed the corner. It's 3-0. Firm at 97. Four-pitch walk to Gaddis to start 6th. You know, during this stretch where the Astros offense has been last of the 30 teams in OPS, so since April 4th, over 11 games, they're last in OPS. They've had opportunities. Pitchers have not been throwing them a lot of strikes. Kyle Gibson walked them 4 times. Jake Odorizzi walked them 5 times. Lance Lynn walked them 4 times. Brian Mitchell walked them 6 times. Tonight the starter Ariel Miranda walked them 4 times. There's a pitch that gets way away. Tavilla's come in and thrown 5 straight pitches out of the zone, and that's a wild pitch, sending Gaddis to second.
I think he was trying to hit the bull.
That just woke somebody up at home.
Yeah, that was a thunderous noise.
That's what, almost 11 o'clock there. So somebody had just dozed off, and that jolted them awake.
Way to go, Dan.
Not that our broadcast shouldn't make people doze off, but it is getting late. It is getting late.
Against us?
I'm trying to say it's getting late in Houston. People have to work.
School.
Still school session. School time. Only for what, another month or so?
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yeah. Brian McCann's drawn 2 walks tonight.
Gosh, that means in another month I'm going to have a freshman in high school. I'm not ready for that.
Well, you got the whole summer. You can dwell on that for
yeah,
summer.
Just a.
Yeah. 2-1 the count. So I guess my point is, with all these walks, at some point the Astros offense has to take advantage of this.
Well, 4 walks today, 6 hits. That adds up to your 10 left on base.
See if Brian McCann can drive one here. Yes, he does. Deep to right field. All the way back is Haniger. Gone!
McCann ball!
Brian McCann's first of 2018. And the Astros take a 3-1 lead.
That felt so good. BMAC's been putting together some great ABs too. Nice to see it pay off.
That is making you pay for a walk. Finally, Brian McCann. That was well struck. Here's Jake Marisnik. He's around the bunt, bunts it up the first baseline and just foul. Hey, when you're struggling.
Guys struggling with command, why not sit back and be ready for that heater when he brings it? Their Mattress Firm Supermo shows a great bat path. Driving straight through that baseball, great at contact. Another loud noise, but this time off the barrel of Brian McCann for the initial McCannon ball of 2018.
That has a lot of people smiling on the bench. Finally, a breakthrough as the Astros take the 2-run lead. Jake bunted the first pitch, and now he takes one on the corner. And when you're struggling, it seems like you're 0-2 in every at bat. Jake has been called out on strikes and struck out swinging his last time. Way upstairs at 95. It's 1-2. Goes down swinging for the first out in the 6th inning. McCann last year hit 18 home runs for the Astros. That snapped a string. He'd gone from 2008 through 2016, 9 straight years of hitting 20 home runs or more. But every year, other than that rookie year where he got 180 at bats, but every year in his career he's hit at least 18 home runs. He's really been so consistent throughout his career. Never more than 26 and never fewer than 18.
That's incredible. And catching a pretty good game in the process every day. Just a bit outside.
Don't think he likes that advertising sign.
He peppering that thing, didn't he?
He just drilled it a couple of times. It's 1-1. I'm a big fan of Gravely behind the plate.
It's like there's a waffle back there. He's trying to kill it.
He's hit take some cuts twice. Springer takes a cut in the right field. Haniger there. George now 0 for 4 as he flies out for the second out of the 6th. It is a Twitter Tuesday. Tonight has been our Altuve Twitter Tuesday.
Good place to do it out there in Milwaukee. That was a good place to hit. How about wearing the brick red unis, the red sleeves? A little throwback. Spraying the ball all over the place. Still a very similar swing. Rear end in the dugout. Barrel on the ball. Punching inside out. Pitch up and in. Go the other way. True Altuve fashion. Still remarkable, that stat of 362 multi-hit games in his first. Well, he could add 363 here if he gets a knock. But in 1,000 games.
Yeah,
wow.
even I can do the math. It's 36.2% or 36.3% if he gets one tonight. That's amazing. Over 36% of his games of his career, he's had multiple hits.
Guess how many times he has not gotten a hit? How many games?
Out of 1,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
230. He has more, by a lot, more multi-hit games than overs.
And he's one behind Jeff Bagwell for the 4-hit games, currently tied with Cesar Cedeno.
The only thing he has not done in 1,000 games, 5 hits. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
the way he goes out and gets hits, you figure he'd have 3 or 4.
It will happen. It's just a matter of time. But it's amazing he hasn't to this point in his first 1,000 games. 2 pitches low, 3-2. Altuve just missed hitting a home run his last time up. He sent Mitch Haniger all the way to the wall and right. And he caught one up against the fence. Altuve with a single in his second at bat. Also has grounded out and hit that ball to the wall. Tough pitch by Altavilla, strikes out Altuve, looking for the final out.
And it's Brian McCann, and it's McCann ball time. Hopefully get this Astros offense going. They take the lead 3-1.
Altuve, Springer, and Correa jerseys, sporting them all. A lot of autographs on those hats too. Bottom half of the 6th inning, Lance McCullers working with a lead for the first time tonight as he starts Mike Margema off with a swing and a miss. Lance has 7 strikeouts. He's allowed just 1 hit, a solo home run by Robinson Cano on an 0-2 pitch back in the first. He's also allowed a 2-out walk in the 5th, and that's it. Lance not even at 80 pitches as he starts the 6th, and he's ahead of Margema 0-2. Lance, the only Astro out on the field without the long sleeves. Each pitcher a little different. Keiko went with the 3/4 sleeves. Lance, even though he's a Florida kid, doesn't mind the cold weather, doesn't want the sleeves tonight. And he has been as good as he can be coming off of his most earned runs he's ever allowed, and that started Minnesota.
Got to get to work, get that ERA back down.
Well, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be easy for Lance to see that ERA where he wants it for a few months, but you have to have supreme confidence in yourself, which Lance does, to have an outing like that, to say calmly after the outing and then before the start tonight, I just didn't pitch to my strengths. I pitched to what I thought were their weaknesses, and I'm going to go back out and pitch to my strengths, and we'll see what happens. And here we are. And I think Brian McCann, you know, his statement about that could be the best thing to happen to you. And so far, he's looking to be right. Brian's getting beat up on those last couple pitches as he bounces one off his chest. It's 1-2.
This game will punch you in the neck when you try and overthink it. Sometimes it takes that punch in the neck to get things right. Got to learn from that failure, and unfortunately, baseball is one of those games. It's predicated by failure, and it's how you adjust to it and overcome it. And Lance McCullers is overcoming it right now.
That's a swing and a miss, and good call by the home plate umpire Sean Barber. That ball was not tipped. That's strikeout number 8 as McCann makes the throw down to first. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, he closed out the biggest game in Astros history, but Charlie Morton is staying humble. We'll also show you the Astros customized gloves. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Fridays before pregame and re-airing all week long only on AT&T Sportsnet. Lance now facing the top of the order. He'll work to D. Gordon here, third time through the lineup. Gordon trying to bunt. Bregman was way in at third, so D would have had a tough time getting on as Alex was ready for it.
Changeup. I like it. Third time through the order. That's where that third pitch can be effective. He can go fastball, curveball the first 2 times, and then just throw that little bit of a changeup in there, keep him off balance, but gets ahead with it. That's nice.
He doubled up right there.
There's a little bit of a heater.
Fastball. Just missed the inside corner. I saw 84. That was his total pitches. But that changeup, he's thrown that more often the last couple starts.
He's thrown them in great spots too. And again, going back to Brian McCann, it might be Brian McCann making some good choices and really saying to Lance, don't just throw the changeup in this situation. Luckily, Lance has thrown some pretty good ones, but it's also a situational pitch where you just kind of throw it out there, entice the hitter every once in a while.
Little ground ball. Altuve makes the play, has to hustle with the speedy Gordon running down the line, and there's 2 away.
Time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Regrettable trade. Arm candy. Red Menace. Can't be me. I only qualify for the first one.
Stop it. None of that. Send your guesses to @ATT Sportsnet SW. Gene Segura, the batter. Segura takes a fastball for a called strike. Lance still has that good percentage going. He has thrown twice as many strikes as balls in this game as he's approaching the 90 pitch plateau. Ahead 0-2.
With you, instead of, the velocity right next to the pitches on her little bug. I heard a good story about Chan-Ho Park when he was pitching with Arlington. It was pretty funny. I'm not sure if we have time with 2 outs and 2 strikes, but it was a pretty good one. So Chan-Ho's in the 6th, 7th inning of a game doing pretty good, but it starts, he walks a guy gets a base hit, he's getting into some trouble. Pitching coach comes out and goes, hey, I'm out here to buy some time, getting the bullpen loose, we're going to get you out of here, just kind of, take your time. Chan-Ho gives him a puzzled look like, what are you talking about? He goes, the pitch before that last one was 93 miles an hour. That last pitch was 94. Pitching coach looks at him and goes, no, that's your pitch count.
There you go. Well, Lance is sitting at 90 on the pitch count, maybe 91 now, but that fastball was a little firmer. Rooms to go. Don't miss the huge store-wide mattress sale going on now. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. Jose Altuve in his 1,000th career game tonight. Astros lead the Mariners 3-1. Lance McCullers Jr. has been outstanding. Ryan McCann, his battery mate, hitting a big 2-run home run last inning. And on we go to the 7th, where the Astros will see the third pitcher of the night for Seattle, the right-hander Chasen Bradford.
There's Bradford's numbers. 4th appearance, 5 2/3 innings out there. Has yet to give up an earned run. Claimed off waivers from the Mets. Pretty good whip, well under 1. Fastball, 90 to 92. Changeup and a slider.
Face Carlos Correa, first batter he sees. Throws that up and into Carlos, 1-0. Changeup he'll only throw to lefties, or at least that's been the case this year. Carlos with a single, a walk, also struck out. It's been on base a couple of times. Misses that fastball. It's 1-1. Correa coming in, leading the team in RBIs with 12, also leading the team in runs scored with 12. Slowly hit towards third. Seager hustles in. Bare hands, no throw. Correa beats it out. Infield hit for Carlos, his second hit of the night. And he's on base for the 3rd time in a row.
Not smashed, but another base runner for the Houston Astros. Good way to lead off this inning. Just continue to put pressure on him. Swinging bunt, the speed of Carlos Correa. Put it in your pocket. That is the speed and desire of a man who can smell a hit.
That'll bring up Yuli Gurriel. Yuli waves and misses at that first offering. That was the slider at 84. Yuli's hit the ball hard all night long. A double to left, line into a double play, and he singled to center. This time he chops one towards short. Segura to Cano, and not as quick as they'd like to be on the double play turn, so Yuli reaches on the fielder's choice.
Watch every out-of-market Astros game all season long live on your favorite supported devices with MLB.tv. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman's been on base a couple of times, single and a walk. Astros losing last night's game 2-1 in Seattle, winning today, or leading today 3-1 in the 7th. Last night snapped a winning streak for the Astros here at Safeco Field. Still overall 6-1 in their last 7 and 5 of their last 6 in this stadium. Inside, it's 1-1. Runner on the move, little ground ball to the right side that Bradford will flip. Gurriel's been on the move a couple of times today as he advances to second with 2 outs. So that'll bring up Josh Reddick, who will get to face a righty for the first time. Josh faced Ariel Miranda 3 times. He grounded out twice and lined to center his last time. Up and into Reddick, it's 1-0. Bradford made his major league debut last season with the Mets. Claimed off waivers this January. Reddick sends one high and deep to right field, but it's going to be playable. Mitch Haniger shy of the warning track. Camped under it, and Reddick just got under it a little bit as he looks out to right field. It is a 3-1 game as we head to the 7th inning stretch here at Safeco Field. And for us, we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our rooms to go lounge as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Day, and we even had some Astro dogs in Seattle. Why am I not hanging out with these guys? It's 3-1 the Astros over the Mariners as we move to the bottom of the 7th. But seriously, why am I not hanging out with those dogs? Celebrate our 2017 championship with an exclusive piece of jewelry from the Jostens World Championship collection, available at the ballpark and online all season. The collection features pieces for women, men, and children. For more info, visit astros.com/thering. TK.
All right, Julia, bottom half of the 7th inning. The only guy with a hit tonight for the Mariners at the plate right now, Robinson Cano. Lance McCullers Jr. allowing 1 hit and 1 walk through 6. Be Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager. Cano around a bunt. Takes a pitch inside. It's 2-0.
Like a pretty good pitch.
Cano hitting his first home run of the year back in the 1st inning. Also grounded out to Gurriel. This is high in the air, shallow left, long run Reddick. Out goes Bregman. Reddick will make the play for out number 1. During that update in our rooms to go lounge, Kevin and Mike were speculating about the number of changeups that Lance McCullers has thrown tonight.
If we looked it up on StatCast, 15 changeups in this game for Lance McCullers.
Wow.
And if you're listening to an Astro game for the first time and you hear about a right-handed pitcher throwing 15 changeups in a game, this isn't your standard right-hander throwing a lot of changeups to left-handed hitters in this lineup. That is a ton of changeups for Lance McCullers. Make that 16.
Will Harris, first bullpen action in the last 2 nights here in Seattle. As Harris starts to warm up. Dallas Keuchel pitching a complete game last night. Lance gets a strike on the corner to Nelson Cruz. It's 1-1. It has been fun to watch. Quite a turnaround for Lance. Dallas Keuchel enjoying it from the dugout. Gets Cruz to swing on a pitch that was diving in on him. 1-2.
You don't see that too often from Nelson Cruz. It's a bona fide big league power hitter, and that is a two-seam fastball that absolutely took off to the inside corner.
He's got it working everywhere tonight.
Wiffle ballish. Do it again.
Nelson Cruz goes down swinging. That's 10 strikeouts for Lance.
Time to name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Regrettable trade, Arm Candy, Red Menace. Joe Morgan, acquired for Lee May, Tommy Helms, and Jimmy Stewart, known for his patented arm flap when he was hitting. Key member of the Big Red Machine and also inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1990.
Sweet Pea, Joe Morgan is the answer to our Name That Astro today. Jose Altuve is starting to catch him in some Astros categories as he approaches him in games played, hits. Altuve playing his 1,000th game tonight. Bob Aspromonte is next on that list. Foul ball into the crowd. It's 0-2. Colors ahead of Kyle Seager. Aspromonte was over at the Astrodome on that Monday with the final dome coming event. It's a nice line right there.
It's pretty good.
Right at 100. Lance trying to close out the 7th, already with 10 strikeouts. Seager has been victimized once, also grounded out on a great play by Carlos Correa. He got him, froze him with the fastball on pitch number 102. Lance, 7 innings of 1 hit, 11 strikeout baseball. We head to the 8th.
Downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you are all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. TK.
All right, Julia, 8th inning baseball, 3-1 Astros. Evan Gattis leads off. He's been on base a couple of times tonight. A single his first time up, a walk and a run scored his last time up. He walked in front of the 2-run home run by Brian McCann, which is right now the difference in this game. Thanks to Lance McCullers. 7 innings of 1 hit, 1 walk baseball. Evan fouls one back. It's 1-1.
Yeah, he's been way better than his last outing.
That is great analysis.
That's what I'm here for. Kind of in mid-season form right now.
1-1 to count. It's funny that phrase, because I heard an interview recently with Justin Verlander, and the discussion came up about how he's always been a slow starter throughout his career. And Julie mentioned in a recent broadcast, maybe been last night, about how Justin, you know, winning AL Player of the Week and off to a great start. He's not used to that. And he said there's a reason they call it mid-season form. It takes him a while to get going. And this year, it's great to see him start early. How about Evan Gattis on base for the third time tonight? Evan was riding an 0 for 11 before this evening, so he feels good about things.
Bearded Bash Brothers getting after it. And Get Out and Play is presented by Toyota. Less of a beard, still plenty of pop. From a cannonball sighting leads to a lot of joy in that dugout.
Oh, one of the bearded Bash Brothers is leaving the game, Evan Gattis, and he's replaced by a pinch runner. The bearded Derek Fisher takes over at first base, and we have a pitching change. We'll tell you about the new Mariners pitcher when we come back. Nobody out in the eighth, leading 3-1, and they will face the new pitcher, the left-hander Wade LeBlanc.
Ex-Astro, and I had to take Todd's word for it because I did not remember Wade LeBlanc pitching for the Houston Astros. That was early in my broadcasting career. But his second appearance of the season. Last season, he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, 5-2 with a 4.50 ERA. He has started a ton of ball games in his career, now working out of the bullpen. He's a 5-pitch pitcher at the bottom part of the order that's had issues early on. Not today.
3 hits, couple of RBIs on the home run by Brian McCann, and they also reached base 3 times via the walk. Nicely done. Here is McCann, and Derek Fisher is the pinch runner, and he got a little far off that bag drew a pickoff throw. Alex Cintron saying maybe a foot less on the StatCast lead.
Moore's reminding him he's left-handed.
Yeah, that's a tough pickoff.
Man, good move.
Well, I don't blame you for not remembering LeBlanc because he only appeared in 4 games with the Astros after he was claimed off waivers back in June of 2013. Scott Service is going to want to look at this one. Derek Fisher may have been caught off first. Just into the game as a pinch runner. First base umpire Adrian Johnson calling him safe. We'll see if there's enough to overturn this.
There's a quick step-off move by Wade LeBlanc. Element of surprise. It's pretty good to get into a ball game and possibly not even throw a pitch and get an out.
Fisher tried to get back with the oven mitt. That's just the glove hand.
Ooh, I don't know if there's enough for me to overturn the call.
There's not really a lot that we've seen on the scoreboard either. 15,382 tonight have not really seen an angle that makes them say he's out.
Yeah, I think Wade LeBlanc picked off everybody in the stadium with that move.
You know, Vogelback had the tag down as we look at an angle on this big screen, but I think he tagged the dirt first, and then he tagged Fisher. That may have cost him the out. I don't think there's anything conclusive yet that we've seen that shows.
It's tough at first base when you're a right-handed throwing first baseman to catch that ball and then get to the bag. But what you try and do, and in talking with Jeff Bagwell, is that right foot is on the corner of the bag, and you want to take that glove to that front part of the bag. But a lot of times you'll see guys go right to the body of the player that is diving back, hoping to get that tag immediately.
All right, I think we have a decision. Crew Chief Brian Gorman will give us the call. Safe. Mariners' challenge is unsuccessful as the call will stand. Well, McCann still without a count. Digs back in at the plate. And it hits him.
Right on the hand.
Oh, he's not happy.
Not at all.
That one was riding in on him and caught his right hand, it appears. Cold night.
Yeah, you really hope it's just a cold reaction to getting hit. Sometimes that initial shock can be awful. Man, right on the top of the back of the hand. Not a good spot. Not a lot of meat there.
Throwing hand. Jeremiah Randall, head athletic trainer. AJ Hinch, the manager, out there looking at the back of the right hand for Brian McCann.
That's the throwing hand for Brian. Oh, Mattress Firm Supermo is going to give us a really good look, isn't it? Oh, just grazing the knuckles.
Well, it's a good sign if he's heading towards first. At least the initial look by Jeremiah says he's okay to hang in there. So McCann will stay in the game. Hit by pitch, Derek Fisher moves to second. McCann on for the fourth time tonight. 2 walks, his first home run of the year. Now he's hit by a pitch. Now Jake Marisnick will bat for the 4th time. Jake has had trouble tonight.
This is an interesting situation just because the fact the Astros haven't been scoring a ton of runs. Jake's struggling a little bit. AJ's not a big bunt manager for me, but there might be an opportunity for a bunt right here.
And if you're the defense, you've got to think about the fact that McCann's running to second.
Absolutely, yeah. The choice could be going to second base because Derek Fisher, he's the flying fish.
McCann did show bunt last at bat, but he was bunting for a hit in that situation. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He is around to bunt, bunts it foul. The one thing about McCann, and we have fun with it when Derek Fisher hits a triple and he's on first, but he does get good secondary leads. He's a very smart base runner. So he knows he's got to cheat a little bit.
Well, and this is a great opportunity to do it also. With the runner at second base, Vogelback is not going to be holding him on in the true sense of standing on the base. You can see Vogelback starting to cheat in, coming in this direction to possibly field that bunt. So with him doing that, McCann can extend that lead.
Bunts it a pitch up at his shoulders. That's strike 2. I That's one when you're seeing the ball well, you probably pull the bat back. It's 0-2.
Sometimes you get in the box and you say, I hope I get a hit. I hope I make contact. I hope I get the bunt down. As opposed to, I will get the bunt down, and then you're going to make a better choice on the pitch.
1-2. All right, so Jake will be in swing mode here, with Fisher on second and McCann on first.
It's also a spot, too, where he's a tough guy to double up, but at the same time, you would almost appreciate a punch out as a lesser of some of the evils that could happen.
Ball gets away. Marjima could not see it, and Fisher heads up.
Great play by Derek Fisher. Now you've got an interesting scenario. This ball doesn't kick away all that much, but Derek Fisher gets a good angle and a good visual on it, and also understanding his speed, gets there easily.
Wild pitch charge to LeBlanc, now putting runners on the corners. The corners are in, and the middle of the infield's kind of halfway.
Well, ground ball up the middle will get you one out, but it also give up one run.
Ball third strike. Jake doesn't agree, and he's had a frustrating night. Fourth strikeout of the night for Jake, and there's one out in the eighth.
Is elevated, but catches a lot of the strike zone.
So now see if George can get that tack-on run here. Runners on first and third and one out. George just struck out a couple of times. Did a little squib in front of the plate and flied to right, looking for his first hit. In the air to right center field, plenty deep enough to score the speedy Fisher. This will make it a 4-1 game on the sac fly. Springer drives in the run. In comes Fisher, and the Astros now lead 4-1.
Good batting. Smart batting. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Get something you can drive to the outfield. Plenty deep enough for Derek Fisher.
Does it seem like every time he pinch runs, he scores?
Yes. I think he should pinch run for everybody.
I mean, seriously. It seems like every time Fisher gets a pinch running appearance, he somehow scores.
And it's not a comeback run. It's always it's either a go-ahead or a tack-on run.
Here's Altuve now. Altuve batting for the 5th time tonight. This has been our Twitter Tuesday. We changed it to Twitter Tuve because he's been our focus all night long, playing his 1,000th game. Off his foot at the plate, it's 1-1.
Jose Altuve, he does so many things right. Namely, cheering on his teammates, but that is the reigning MVP. He didn't have his bat in his hand. He left it in the on-deck circle and got himself in position to turn into that base coach for Derek Fisher on that play. It's just simple things that you can do to make your team better, and he does all of them.
Outside is 2-1. Well, you said it in the open, 362 multi-hit games. Kind of would be fitting in game number 1,000 to tack on one more to that list. He's 1 for 4 tonight. He's facing the lefty Wade LeBlanc. Pops one high in the air. Seager, Segura, Ichiro. It is Ichiro who makes the call to catch. And that'll do it for the Astros, but they had a run and lead it headed to the bottom of the 8th, 4-1.
energy from Lance McCullers this evening. We saw the fastball curveball mix lead to 11 punch outs. We also saw a little bit different wrinkle in the repertoire for Lance, throwing 16 changeups, doing a good job of keeping Seattle Mariner hitters off balance. An interesting note on Lance McCullers, along with those 11 strikeouts, his ground ball to fly ball ratio, 8 ground balls to 1 fly ball. So great peripherals in the sense that you're getting a lot of strikeouts, and the ground ball percentage from Lance McCullers leading to a solid 7-inning outing. Now he's getting relieved by Will Harris.
Well, Harris takes over in the 8th inning for the Astros with this 4-1 lead. First batter he faces is Mitch Haniger. Will last pitched against the Rangers on Saturday. He's had a good run on the road, going all the way back to May 17th of last year. 17 straight on the road where he has been scoreless, as he is ahead of Haniger 0-2. Last time through the rotation, and we saw the numbers for the Astros starting rotation earlier, how they lead the majors in innings and in strikeouts. Last time through the rotation, you had Garrett Cole strike out a career high 14. You had Charlie Morton match his career high with 12. You also had Verlander with 11, and tonight Lance with 11. Make it 12 overall now as Harris gets a strikeout the first batter he faces. I mean, what a turnaround for Lance from his last start in Minnesota.
He needed it. Instead, he got away from being who Lance McCullers is and trying to pitch to the Minnesota Twins hitters. This time out, I think he got back to who Lance is, his fastball, curveball. But again, it's all about the fastball command for me and Lance McCullers. If he's able to get ahead and take command of these at-bats and not let the hitter dictate what he's going out to do, he is going to have a lot more success.
And tonight it was also changeup. It wasn't fastball, curveball exclusively. And this is a team he'll see 4 or 5. You know, sometimes a starter sees a team 6 times in a year. Lance will see these guys plenty this year, and to throw that thought in their head that changeup may be part of the mix is nice.
It plants the seed, it lets him know. But he also got 2 swinging strikes and 1 called strike out of it, so he also used it to his advantage.
1-1 the count to Vogelback. And now Will hits the corner. It's 1-2.
And you're talking about the starters. It's now 5 straight starts. In those 5 straight great quality starts that we're seeing from the Astros rotation, 54 punch outs.
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing.
And it's all been solo home runs for the most part. You mentioned Keuchel gave up the RBI double last night on a ball where George Springer slipped. But it was 2 solo home runs against Garrett Cole. It was 2 solo home runs against Charlie Morton. It was the Robinson Chirinos' only hit of the game allowed by Justin Verlander. And tonight the only hit allowed of the game by Lance McCullers was the Robinson Cano home run.
Go figure.
I mean, that's a stretch in that 5-man rotation where the team should be 5-0.
By a lot.
3-2 pitch, called third strike. Harris comes back to strike out Vogelback, looking back-to-back strikeouts out of the bullpen for Will.
A laborious AB by Will Harris, but does a good job coming back with that cut fastball down in the zone. And Vogelback facing Will Harris for the first time, getting a real understanding of what that natural cut fastball looks like in a 3-2 count.
So in that sequence of 5 starts for the rotation, they're now down to a 2.00 ERA. And the batting average against will drop somewhere below 150 because it was 156 coming in, and Lance gave up 1 hit tonight in 7 innings. Ichiro with a base hit. Give you some numbers on Ichiro. That's now 3,087 career major league hits, and that in Japan, that's 4,365 in his illustrious career.
Got a couple of guys in the American League West with 3,000 plus hits in the major leagues. Ichiro, and we just saw Adrian Beltre of the Texas Rangers. I hated playing third base when Ichiro was in his prime. I felt like he was picking on me. He'd just stand there maybe about 90 feet away from me and kind of nod his head and then just hit some wicked screamer past me.
Little chopper towards Altuve. Jose will make the flip to first to get Mike Marchima to end the 8th. We're going to head to the 9th inning. Astros have a 4-1 lead.
Your favorite Jose Altuve superlative? Ooh, 64%. Big winner for game 1 of the ALDS. 3 home runs for Jose Altuve that day. In front of the home crowd. It was electric in there that day. Oh, there it is. One of my favorite parts of the entire postseason was that game because of 2015 and the story that AJ told us about how he took it personal that he wasn't able to help his team enough in the playoffs and was just distraught over that and couldn't wait to get another chance to be able to help his club. And what did he do? First chance he had? Went deep 3 times.
9th inning begins. Correa is out on a play by Cano that almost pulled Vogelback off the bag. Correa hustling down the line forced Robbie to hustle his throw and almost threw it wide.
Some exciting times on the right side of that infield for the Seattle Mariners tonight. Carlos isn't leaving the bag. He just left.
Well, AJ had to give him the cue that they will not review it. So LeBlanc gets the ground out from Carlos Correa. Some great memories tonight shared on Twitter. We appreciate all the people who have been watching on this Twitter Tuesday who have shared in their favorite memories of Jose Altuve playing his 1,000th career game. A lot of fans mentioned that ALDS Game 1 and the chance of MVP throughout Minute Maid Park.
Twitter's been going strong all game long. Really appreciate everybody at home.
Yeah, we're approaching midnight. A lot of fans still with us from Seattle. Maybe sleepless back in Houston. 1-1 counts, a called strike.
See what you did there. Good job.
Yuli's hit the ball hard pretty much the whole night. He's 2 for 4. Inside 2-2. A lot of fans like the memory of the Altuve pop-up that he couldn't catch and then he threw his glove down. I saw that on 1 or 2 people's favorite memories. Just because he's so passionate, he just hated the fact that he couldn't make that play.
He's so passionate, and he's Kelly Leak on pop-ups.
Yeah.
Catches everyone he can.
Speaking of pop-ups, we've got one here. Kyle Seager will have to run over the mound. Not an easy play, but he makes it 2 outs. Linda agrees with that game 1 of the ALDS.
Yep. 2014 beating Biggio's franchise record for hits in a season.
Here's Alex Bregman. Well, Altuve with 4 straight 200 hit seasons. Ichiro was the king of the 200 hit seasons. Those two guys playing in the same series here, 4-game set. Ichiro had a string of 5 straight years where he led the league in hits, but one of those years he shared it with Dustin Pedroia. That was the 2008 season. They both ended with the same number of hits. So Altuve last year became the first player ever to outright lead his league in hits with 4 straight seasons. And he won by a wide margin last year. We knew about 2 weeks left in the season. How about those two guys? OPS 814 to 814. And Ichiro had 1,415 hits in 1,000 games. Now,
come on, show offs.
Ichiro's phenomenal. I will never take anything away from him. He's a Hall of Famer. More hits combined than anybody in the history of the game, Japanese and Major League Baseball. When he started playing at the Major League level, he was already over 1,000 hits into his career in Japan. Altuve started as from a Jump Street rookie. So it's a little different comparison in terms of the first 1,000 games because Ichiro played all those seasons in Japan, but still remarkable 1,415 hits. Bregman a little soft line to right. Haniger is going to amble towards the line and put it away. So the Astros will take a 4-1 lead into the 9th. Looks like Chris Davinsky, Devo, warming up, try and close things out. Let's go places. By Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. And by Ram. Hurry in and get a great deal during the Ram Spring Sales Event. Jose Altuve playing career game number 1,000, looking to make it a W tonight as the Astros lead the Mariners 4-1 as we head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. On our Twitter Tuesday, our Twitter Tuve as well. Let's go Astros all the way from Japan.
Go Air Force. Appreciate your service and the faith in the Astros.
And they're going to get a chance to watch Devo here in the 9th inning with 2 of the first 3 and 3 of the first 5 hitters batting from the left side.
Chris Davinsky pitched on the 15th against Texas, won an inning, gave up 1 hit, nothing else through 19 pitches.
He'll face the top of the order. D. Gordon takes a called strike. Lance McCullers, 7 innings of 1-hit baseball, struck out 11, walked 1. Will Harris allowed 1 hit in the 8th. And now Devo trying to preserve this 4-1 lead.
Devo picked up his first save of the season against Texas in that series, back at home on the 13th.
Colin McHugh is warming up in the Astros bullpen as Davinsky's ahead 0-2.
6 career saves for Chris Davinsky.
Gordon has struck out and grounded out a couple of times. He goes down swinging here. McCann's going to have to make the throw to first, which he does. And that's out number 1 in the 9th. On this Jose Altuve 1,000th career game, we send it down to Julia Morales. What is one of your favorite memories about Altuve?
Oh, that's tough. Considering I've been here since 2013, you know, just the joy of Altuve every day is what I think of. Him grabbing my mic and singing all the time. I mean, this guy has so much fun. Watching the ground ball go his way to make the final out of the World Series will be something I cherish forever. One of the best interviews I did was when he won the batting title in 2014 on that last day of the season. A season that had been so tough on the team, and for him to kind of persevere and reach a goal that he'd worked so hard for was really cool. And then, of course, Todd, I mean, him becoming a father, you know, I mean, we watched him grow up in front of us. We've gotten to know his family. And of course, when Melanie came into the world and he became a dad, that interview was pretty cool, too.
Yeah, those are all good ones, spanning the scope of Jose Altuve's life. Always having fun out there, even in between pitches. You saw him with a little dance step. And in that back pocket as it's gotten a little cooler as the evening's gone along. Those little hand warmers back there. Davinsky ahead 0-2. He struck out the first batter, D. Gordon, and now he's ahead of Segura. Bounces that one in there. It's 1-2. Altuve playing in his 1,000th game. George Springer half that total tonight with his 500th Major League game. Fouled back. .959th start for Altuve at second base of his 1,000 games. Up the middle, Marisnik will play it on a hop. He had a tough time getting out of the blocks as that grass continues to give way in the outfield. Gene Segura with a 1-out base hit against Chris Davinsky.
Yeah, we haven't seen it too much today, but this field is in terrible condition. But there was a lot of tweets asking about this performance by Jose Altuve, that is for sure. Little Backstreet Boys.
To Devo, singing to Devo and into the camera.
To thee!
Keeping things loose in the clubhouse. Here's Robinson Cano. Want to keep him off the bases because the guy on deck, Nelson Cruz, has 3 home runs of his 4 hits this season. This is a 3-run game. Cano hit a home run, grounded out, flied out to left. Well, as quickly as Colin McHugh started to warm up, he sat back down, and now the bullpen is quiet for the Astros. So this is Davinsky's inning. Devo ahead 0-2. Change up getting the lefties, such a devastating weapon. Cano has had success though in his career against Davinsky. He's 4 for 10. Doesn't chase there, it's 1-2. Back to the changeup. Three on the right side of the infield with Cano batting. Runner on the move, swinging a line drive, caught by Gurriel. That's going to end the game. Yuli will step on first, and a double play to finish it. Cano hit a laser, caught by Yuli Gurriel, and the Astros win this one 4-1.
Lance McCullers bounce back redemption game, and the battery of McCullers and McCann being the deciding factor in this game, with Brian McCann's first McCannon Ball of the year.
Jose Altuve gets to celebrate a win in his 1,000th career game. The Astros take a 4-1 victory over the Mariners. First two games have been split in this 4-game series, and we will have more, including the post-game show, right around the corner.